With only 4 seconds left on Monday night, Mike Lansford of the Rams booted Los Angeles past the Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears. Still, they're not a shoo-in in the Wild West of the NFC. Last week, the New Orleans Saints mounted an impressive upset of their own, sacking the San Francisco 49ers for the biggest win of their season. The leading rusher in the NFL is Eric Dickerson. He is the irresistible force, and today he'll go up against a Saints defense that has played like an immovable object against the rush. New Orleans has a showcase running back of its own, a Canadian by way of Washington State. His name is Reuben Mays, and he's a leading rookie ground gainer in the league. We're in New Orleans, where Rams coach John Robinson can play his cards close to the vest, while Jim Mora may show us he's a riverboat gambler at heart. The battle for the NFC West continues today from the Superdome in New Orleans as the Saints play host to the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams 7-2 with a game-and-a-half lead over San Francisco and Atlanta, meeting a fast-improving Saints team who's won 3 of their last 4 games. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender along with the coach, Hank Stram. Hank, Jim Mora feels they're on the right track. If they win today, they would match their victory output of a season ago. Also, if they win today, they would really throw this division race up for grabs. 2 very similar teams going after each other.
This is going to be like watching an inter-squad game, I think, today, Gary, because both of them express the same personality. They both like to run the football. They like to play good, solid defense, use a lot of zone, and they put a lot of emphasis on the specialty teams.
All right, Coach, they're similar. Then what can be the difference in a game like this?
Well, I think for the Rams to win the football game, I think they have to change the focus a little bit. I think they have to get Ron Brown and Ellard in the game more than they have. Number 2, I think they have to be very, very concerned about doing a good job with the specialty teams. On the other hand, I think the Saints, to win the game, I think they have to keep Dickerson under 100 yards. I think they have to eliminate the big play. And also, I think they have to do an excellent job with the specialty teams.
Los Angeles has won the toss. They've elected to receive. Morton Anderson will kick off for the Saints. Last week, he kicked off 6 times, and 5 of them were not returned. As Ron Brown goes back, 7th in the NFC in kickoff returns. And again, Anderson hits it deep, so there'll be no return, and he's a weapon in that department. All right, Steve Dills is 3-0 as a starter for the Rams. And let's look defensively now at what he will face in this game. This is a vastly improved defense up front. Clark, Elliott, and Wilkes. Clark, a complete player, Coach.
Yeah, he really is, and he's the key.
And then the linebacking. Ricky Jackson coming off of a strong performance against the 49ers.
He's a great linebacker and all-pro performer.
And back deep, Waymer and Poe each have 4 interceptions.
The corners have excellent speed, and they play very well together.
So from the 20-yard line, here's Dills. Off it comes to Henry Ellard, and Ellard will pick up 5, 6, and there's a penalty flag as he comes to the 26-yard line. That's what they wanted to do, was throw something to the flat, the quick outs. They started out that way, but let's see if it holds. Ellard having a tough time Monday night, dropping a couple of passes, but that'll give him some confidence to latch on to that one. Going to be a penalty, though, against the Rams.
Yeah, I think it's very important to get Ellard in the game as quickly as possible. He had a so-so game last week, and he missed a lot of practice. So to start the game, throwing the ball to him is a good move.
Hank, you look at the Rams. They run the ball so well.
Illegal block in the back. Offense. Repeat the down. First down.
And they play such good defense, but they're last in passing. They're winning. It's not pretty, John Robinson said, but they are winning.
Well, the only thing that's really important, as you know, we've said this so many times, the only thing that's really important, you win the game. How you win it really doesn't make any difference. And I think now they have a, double lightning on the outside with Ellard and Brown. I think they're going to be a lot more efficient.
After the penalty now. First down, 16. David Hill in motion. Here's Dickerson. And Eric draws a crowd at the 17-yard line. Let's look offensively at this Ram team. Second in the NFL in rushing. Redden doesn't get a lot of credit.
No, he doesn't, but the key again is Eric Dickerson, as everybody knows.
And you talked about the double lightning outside, and what an outstanding offensive line. Is there any better as a group?
I think, I think they're big and they're strong, and they do a terrific job as a unit.
Going to bring up now, second down, 13 yards to go. There's part of that big forward wall. Newberry, the rookie.
And this is what they didn't want to do. They didn't want to have to come up with second and long, especially early in the game.
Bills will give to Dickerson, and Dickerson has Ricky Jackson there first. Help arrives, and they're going to come to a third down and long distance. Jackson playing inspired football right now.
Here's an end zone shot. Look at the left guard and the left tackle, both pulling on a play 75 and 66. They go to the outside. Dickerson runs inside. A lot of traffic. They do not block the linebacker on the play, Ricky Jackson, and as a result, there's problems, and they don't make any yardage.
It's third down and 12. The long yardage you were talking about, they didn't want to have. Looks like some movement up front. A penalty flag. Straight ahead handoff to Dickerson. He's short of the first down, but it looked like the right side of the Saints moved. That was Pat Swilling, a linebacker, number 56.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to anticipate the rhythm of the count and got across there a little bit too quickly.
Here's Dills with the option explained. They are short of the first down. It'd be fourth down, still 3 yards to go.
Offside. Defense, number 56. Repeat the down. Third down.
So it's 3rd and 7. Here is the offside.
There's 56. Pat Swilling. You see him trying to get off the ball a little bit prematurely, and that's what happened on the play.
Boy, they love this rookie. He has come so far as a third-round draft pick out of Georgia Tech. They love to send him on the blitz. 3rd and 7.
They're the nickel defense. 4 down linemen, 5 defensive backs.
From the shotgun,
No
Hill.
blitz.
And way overthrown, intended for Ellard. And the Rams going to have to get rid of the football. You can just feel the electricity here, Hank. The Saints are starting to have some success.
They really are having some success. And, the problem here is the fact that every time you play against the Saints, the great kicking they have with Anderson, you wind up starting on the 20-yard line and below.
Here's Hatcher, who's had a slump this year in the punting department. He'll be booting this one from in the 10. Eric Martin, 84, 3rd in the NFC in returns. Big rush. They thought they could get one today, and they went after it that time. Here is Martin from the 35, and he'll be grounded inside the 35-yard line. Good coverage that time by Vince Newsom. 43-yard punt, no return. Now, Dave Wilson will come in and run this team at quarterback. Took over in the 3rd week when Bobby Hebert went down with an injury. And here's the defense he'll face. Sean Miller, now the nose tackle.
The nose tackle is always a key on a 3-4, and he's doing an excellent job.
Linebacking, well, Giroux has been a very pleasant surprise.
He has been, but Mil Owens has been sensational.
And back deep, Gray with 6 interceptions.
He's been super, especially so since he's starting for the first time at that left corner position.
And starting for the first time with the ball, the Saints from the 34. Wilson, and the pass is complete. A near interception by Nolan Cromwell. Cromwell stepping over, almost had the ball. Eric Martin instead made the catch at the 40-yard line. Offensively, Reuben Mays, 3 100-yard games.
He's a lightning guy. They have to stop. He's a good one.
Jordan has been blocking so well, and this offensive line has allowed only 3 sacks in the last 3 games.
They've gelled extremely well, and I think the key is Stan Brock, the all-pro right tackle.
From the 40-yard line now, 2nd down, 4. That's Mays in motion. Wilson with a lot of time on target. Mike Jones, number 86, first down catch to the 43-yard line of Los Angeles. A 17-yard pickup on the play.
The big thing is watch the protection. It's very good. He's got plenty of time to throw the ball. Throwing against the zone. Look, it steps up into the hole to throw the ball. And, of course, Mike Jones is wide open between the linebackers and is finally tackled by Johnny Johnson, number 20.
If you were going to categorize Dave Wilson, Hank, you'd call him a finesse passer.
Yes, I think so. I don't think he's got a great gun, but he's got a very adequate gun, and I think he's smart and intelligent and throws the ball to the right guy most of the time.
He did the last time. 17-yard pickup. Wilson back, protection again, and it's intercepted. Beautiful interception that time by Leroy Irvin. That ball intended for Martin. They were close on an interception earlier. This time the Rams come away with it.
Here again, back in the pocket, and he's got good time to throw. Look at him picking up Miller at the middle. Plenty of time to throw the ball. But he throws it behind. He throws it behind the receiver, and Irwin is able to make the interception. A great play by the Rams.
Irvin with his second interception of the season. No score from the Superdome. The interception by the Rams has set it up now at the 26-yard line. Hank, one thing the Saints have done very well is to take care of the football. They turned it over here. They had a +9 coming in, and look how the Rams have done when they get the turnover. 62 points scored after the takeaway, and let's see if they can convert it into something here. Dills with his second opportunity. First series just didn't get underway. Dickerson to the 30. Eric struggles forward, and he's about a yard short of the first down, maybe 2, to the 35. Ricky Jackson made the stop. Dickerson ahead of his record pace, Hank, in 1984 when he went over 2,000 yards, 178 yards ahead of it.
Well, he's amazing in that he has such great durability, too. You know, he likes to carry the ball. He's averaged about 27 a game. He likes to carry the ball 30, 35 times a game, and it's amazing how fresh he is after a game. It's incredible.
Second down. Let's make it 2 yards to go. This is Barry Redmond. He's straightened up, and I don't believe he got the first down. Excellent reaction by Frank Warren, 73. Warren out of Auburn, a third-round draft pick, and he's one of the reasons the Saints up front have been playing so much better.
Watch 73, the left end, number 73. Actually, that's what happens when you don't block him. He wasn't blocked at all, came down the line of scrimmage looking for somebody to hit, and he found Redden and gave him a shot.
What you're telling me, all the great backs still need blocking, right?
It always helps.
Third down, a yard. Dickerson again looking for the first down. He's got it with great leg drive. There's a penalty flag as Eric is able to get to the 40-yard line. Hank, that shows his strength there. He took the tackler on and just moved him up the field.
Well, as tall as he is, you know, at 6'3", you don't think he can get low enough to get the leverage, holding against the Rams.
Well, you were talking to him. We were yesterday. He said that was one thing he used to get criticized for, is he ran too straight up and down, but he's learned when to get low.
Well, he runs high once he gets through.
Holding. Offense. Number 81. Repeat the down. Third down.
That's David Hill, by the way. Go ahead, Coach.
But he said that once he gets into the open, that's when he runs high. But basically going through the line of scrimmage and hitting linebackers, why he has the capacity to get very low. I've seen him many times get as low as a defensive back. It's incredible how low he really can get.
So if he gets up straight, that means he sees something, right?
You're right.
Third down, 11 after that holding call. Dill scrambling out of there. That was Bruce Clark, 75, their standout out of Penn State. And twice, Hank, they've had costly penalties that have really hurt their first 2 series.
Bruce Clark, number 75, really a great player, playing left end. Swilling, number 56, is coming on the outside. But look at it, caves in on the right, the quarterback's right side. And there you see Bruce Clark, number 75, coming in to make the tackle.
Hatcher hit a beauty. Eric Martin is back for the Saints, waiting very nonchalantly at the 27. Has some running room. Penalty flags. He fumbled the ball. It's loose. Who's got it? It's picked up by the Rams. Coming out of there with it is Kevin Green, and Green is at the 21-yard line. But there are 3 penalty flags.
There's a clip on the play, very obviously on about the 34-yard line, and it's against the Saints the way it looks.
Shaken up on the play is Van Jakes. He's their nickelback in the secondary. That ball just got loose for Martin. Martin's had some problems this year. Fumbled a punt earlier this year against the New York Jets. It was a 52-yard punt. It's going to go against New Orleans. Well, they sort it out. It's going to give the ball to the Rams. Second turnover of the game now for New Orleans. And as we said, they've done so well taking care of the ball, but that's not happening here in this first quarter. A little confusion down there right now. They're moving the chains over. They're waiting on that. We have a break at the 9:02 mark of this first quarter. There's no score, but the Rams will have it when we come back at the 22. And here's another mistake by the Saints. Martin fielded it all right, Coach, but as he got up the field, he lost it. It's their second turnover in the early going. You're playing a team like Los Angeles. You can't do that.
And they didn't keep the ball close enough to his body. That's the problem.
From the 22 now, Dills, play action, rolling out. And on target to David Hill. The ball is fumbled. And let's see who's got this one. David Hill had it, and all of a sudden squirted out. Dennis Harris saying it's the Rams ball, but let's wait on the Zebras, and they're indicating it is LA's football.
Boy, that was hard to tell that they would get the ball because it looked like there were a lot of New Orleans Saints people around there.
Let's look at it again.
Watch the play action fake. Look at this. They take a sniff with a counter fake to 29 Dickerson. Look at all the room he's got rolling to his right. The ball is thrown a little bit to behind David Hill. He gets hit. The ball pops up into the air. There it goes. It's coming down. Look at all the black shirts around it. How they came up with the Rams, I don't know, but they did. 1st and 10 for the Los Angeles Rams.
That was Watliff that hit the ball and squirted it out. Alvin Tolles, well, check that. Jim Wilkes, number 94, is shaken up. Wilkes, the defensive end, he'll come off the field. So a near miss for the Rams. Both teams having trouble hanging on to the ball.
I never did see who recovered the fumble. Did you?
I didn't either. It's one of those where you get underneath the pile and you start tugging and pulling a little bit, huh? Like pulling taffy, as you would say.
Well, that's the important thing is the big guys on the bottom of the pile usually come up with the ball.
Been that way through the years.
Never
right?
changes. That's right.
In their backyard, it used to be that way, right?
They're biting and scratching and clawing down there, and the big guy usually gets the ball.
You know who they're giving that credit to? They say Ellard came up with a fumble recovery. I think they're guessing. I don't think they know.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. 2 turnovers by the Saints and a near turnover for the Rams, and movement. Tony Elliott firing off the mark. Was he drawn off? Elliott weighs close to 300 pounds. You don't want him running into you when you're sitting still. Officials having kind of a little shaky start here, getting this thing back on track. Against the Rams, they'll back him up 5 yards. Looked like Newberry, Hank, on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I thought it was Newberry, too, yes. Number 66.
We have a false start on the offense. Number 66, 1st down.
That's already 3 penalties for 21 yards. And the Rams this year have not been penalized. Look at this. 2nd fewest in the NFL. This is a strange start, isn't it?
It is. But you never know what's going to happen.
1st and goal now from the 12.
They got an advantage. Well, they looked like they were going to run to the left, but they are. Yep.
Here comes Eric. And he got some of the yardage back. I thought that was a ball for a moment. It's a helmet that came off. He is stopped just inside the 5-yard line. Johnny Poe coming up there. Bring up 2nd and goal from there.
Here's a ground level shot. They bring the guy in motion to the left side. Watch Barry Redden. He gets a good block on Swilling, provides him running room inside. He takes advantage of it and picks up a nice gain in the play. But a great block by Barry Redden, number 30.
Herb Pankey doing a good job, too. Pankey's really come on his own. They think he's on the top of the league now. 2nd and goal, just inside the 5. Redden in motion. Dickerson. No place to go. Excellent reaction. Dave Waymer's over there. Ricky Jackson. Hank, we saw a similar defensive stand last week against the 49ers down here.
Well, what's happening so far, they haven't been able to keep the New Orleans Saints on the line of scrimmage. They're getting penetration, and that's what happened on the last play. Ricky Jackson got penetration. He got help from the outside from Waymer. But you got to keep these people on the line of scrimmage if you're going to run outside and make yardage. They haven't been able to do that yet.
A loss of 7. They're back out to the 12. 3rd and goal. Inside the 20, 12 touchdowns previous to today.
Well, they're going to bump and run on the outside to the right side, see if they try to go up on top. That's a good place to go, usually.
Dill's having trouble, and Swilling's got him. Dill's, he who hesitates is lost, and all of a sudden Swilling just gobbled him up.
Yeah, I'm surprised. He had a one-on-one on the outside with Brown. Brown on Waymer. Look at on the outside. But he doesn't get rid of the ball quickly, but he doesn't see Swilling coming from the backside. It looked like a screen pass. Nobody blocked him.
Hank, I don't think he was ready for the snap. It looked like the ball was snapped before he wanted it, and it was on him before he could really react.
Now Lansford has missed 7 field goals last year. All he missed, and all 7 of them were for the right hash mark.
Well,
let's see what happens here.
It's a 37-yard attempt. Dill's holding, and this one is going to hit the upright. So Lansford, who hit the 50-yarder Monday night to win it, misses. And at the 6:24 mark, we're scoreless.
Watch his left foot. See, look at his left foot. Slides way to the inside, and that's exactly where he kicked the ball. That's the problem. If you don't kick well, it's your left foot. Look at his reaction. Looks like somebody stepped on his foot the way he's dancing around.
Well, he's trying to keep it from happening. Interestingly enough, after the Rams had recovered their own fumble, as you look at Lansford now for the year is 9 of 13. They lost 13 yards in 3 plays. They just backpedaled.
And the other thing he's done, he's kicked 12 in a row on synthetic turf prior to that miss.
All kinds of movement up front this time. Seems like every play we have about 3 penalty flags. The illegal procedure against the Saints. That'll back it up 5 yards.
False start. Offense. Number 67. First down.
That's Stan Brock, number 67. Outstanding offensive tackle out of Colorado, their first pick in 1980. And he, as Jim Mora has put it, has some nastiness in him.
You know, and so far, the Rams defense better get nasty because they're really not controlling the line of scrimmage, not getting penetration. They're not getting a push like they like to get.
There's a pretty good push, though, by Buford Jordan. He brings it out across the 20. So let's leave the Superdome for a moment. Let's go to New York for an update. Here's Brent Musburger.
Well, Gary, the Rams left the Bears angry. Their second touchdown, and it is the first scoring strike of Mike Tomczak's career to Willie Gault, 37 yards, 14-0 the Bears. Let's go back to Gary.
Well, Brent, looks like the Bears there got a little nastiness in them, too. They didn't like that Monday night development.
Yeah, you don't win unless you have that nastiness, I guarantee it.
Second down now, 9, dumping it off, incomplete. Reuben Mays, the intended receiver. Wilcher came through. Wilcher, Hank, probably doesn't get a lot of credit, but he is really the prototype linebacker you want on that side.
Yeah, he really is. He's a great space player, meaning that anytime the split end is reduced, there's not a tight end on his side. He likes that room and really gets good penetration, which he did on the last play. He didn't practice very much all week long. He's had a bad knee, but they thought he'd be ready today, and actually, evidently, he is.
Well, you know, he replaced Lawrence Taylor at North Carolina, and a lot of people compare him to Lawrence. That's heady company. He doesn't have the stats, but he's a very good football player. Third down and 9.
Watch Jeter here to the right defensive end.
Wilson with good protection again and on target. First down catch by Eric Martin. I tell you, Hank, they're giving Wilson all kinds of time to throw the football.
That's the key. He's got all the time in the world that time. They had a stunt from the outside with Jeter coming inside, and but he didn't get there in time. Look at the pressure. Not very much to get the hands up, but not high enough. He still throws the ball over the top. Eric Martin makes the catch, and it's a first down for the New Orleans Saints.
Eric Martin leading the NFL in average per catch. And he's had some big plays this year. An 84-yard touchdown, 72 yards. Had a little trouble hanging on the ball. By the way, Mel Gray's come in, 37. Watch him. They may have something with him in the play.
Yeah, he's a lightning guy. You got to be able to cover him.
That was behind Reuben Mays as they came on the blitz. With Gray in there, Hank, we're expecting some reverse action maybe before the afternoon is over.
Well, he has such great speed that they have to utilize that ability and skill as much as they possibly can. And so as a result, anytime you see him in the game, well, you have to be aware of some kind of a gadget play possibly or some kind of a big play.
He's had some big plays. They had a 101-yard kickoff return against the 49ers, leads the NFL in that department. You know, Mays has yet to carry the ball, Hank.
Yeah, you talk about changing the focus. You know, they've changed the focus totally. They haven't given the ball to the guy yet. They've done everything but give him the football.
Coach, they're out of focus right now.
You're right.
Second down 10, and again movement. That's Doug Reed, number 93, coming across. I've never seen so many false starts, confusion on the line of scrimmage in the early part of a game as we've had here thus far. I don't know whether they're changing the cadence up there or whether it's the adrenaline. What is it?
Well, this time it's on the Rams. Looked like it might have been Doug Reed. I don't know for sure, number 93.
John Robinson, he is the players' coach. No question about it. They love his positive attitude. Love to play for him. And right now, let's hear what exactly happened.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 93. Replay the down. Second down.
That's Doug Reed. Reed now starting when they move Sean Miller to nose tackle. He had some contractual problems the start of the year and checked in late and had trouble getting in shape.
You know, the Rams before the game said they had to play the game on the other side of the football. On the Saints side of the football, they haven't been able to do that yet.
Well, they did illegally.
Yeah.
Second down 5. Jordan again, and we're still looking for Reuben Mays to carry the ball. A little decoy action there, I guess, as Buford gets to the 40-yard line. It'll be a couple of yards short of the first down.
You know, when you watch the Ram defense, the inside linebackers play about 4 yards deep, and so that's the place that you think is the obvious place to run, and you try to spend a lot of time in there, but you're never going to beat anybody running up the middle. It's a very deceptive look on the part of the Rams because they fill in close very quickly.
They don't do anything fancy, do they, Hank? They're just well coordinated defensively.
No, they just line up and say, here we are, we're going to make you throw in front of us, and whenever you get, you're going to bleed. You better have a tourniquet ready because it's hard to stop that bleeding.
3rd and 2. John Tyson motion. Here's Mays, his first carry, and I don't think he got the first down. He carried, by the way, the first 12 plays last week against the 49ers. That's his first effort, and it was short, I think, of the first down.
You know, sometimes when you're trying to deviate from a plan that you normally use, sometimes you fool yourself more than you do the opposition because you get away from what really your team does best. This guy runs so well outside, and now they try to run him up the middle, and that's not what he does best.
Well, you've taught me, Coach, you only get so many chances. Only so many plays. You got to utilize them. Right now, let's see if they got the first down. They're short of it.
They're short of the first down, boys.
Well, the crowd wants them to go for it, but Jim Mora, this early in the game, is not going to do that. He'll bring Brian Hansen in to punt. And this is one stage of the game that they have excelled in. Hansen, along with Morton Anderson, give them as fine a kicking game as there is in the NFL. He's 3rd in the NFC with that average. Out of a small school, Sioux Falls. He said the capacity of the stadium he used to punt in front of was 5,000. A few more than that here today. 2 men deep, Johnny Johnson and Ellard.
You know, it used to be that a lot of teams would try to kick the ball out of bounds. Now I think the philosophy is kick it up within the sidelines and make everybody catch the ball. Make them, because there's always a chance for a fumble. Oh, they're not going to catch this one.
Is that in orbit? Oh, did he kick this ball? Hansen had a 66-yarder last week. This is a 59-yard punt at the 20. The Rams will have it. No score. Very unusual game. They came from Chicago after the Monday night win and stayed here all week.
Well, I really think it's a good idea, and I thought it was well thought out, and the only thing you could do, I know, however, that people around the country, if they lose this football game, they're going to blame it on the fact they were here all week. If they win the game, they won't say much about it. But really and truly, I think John had to do what he thought was best for his football team. And the nice thing about it is it reconstructs what you establish early in training camp. You get a chance to kind of build on that again in the middle of the season. There's kind of a training camp atmosphere, and I thought they practiced and worked very well all week.
That Cajun food will get you playing better, won't it? Bill's back to throw. Far sideline. The catch is made. Harry Redden coming up with it, and the pursuit caught up in a hurry. Pick up of 2 yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8. One thing about Dills that you've pointed out to me, Coach, is he really is a smart quarterback. Now, that may be overemphasized, but he knows his abilities and plays within them.
Well, you know what he is? He's a good manager. That's what he is. He manages the team extremely well. He gets them into the huddle, out of the huddle, knows what's going on all the time, has great control, and understands the passing game very well. If he gets time to throw the ball, he'll hurt you.
2nd down and 8. No score from the Superdome. Dills to Dickerson. Eric thunders out close to a first down at the 30-yard line. Alvin Tolles made the stop. It'll bring up a 3rd down. To get back to that, Hank, Dills has done one thing that really pleases John Robinson. He has not taken the sack. Last year, they gave up 51 sacks. Dieter Brock had the tendency to eat the football and lose a lot of yardage.
Well, I think that was one of their big goals coming into the season. They wanted to make sure that they didn't get sacked and that they had to throw the ball away. So that's what they've done. They've thrown the ball away rather than eat it.
Third down, a yard.
They got an advantage over here to the left if they come this way.
Boy, he hits in there hard, doesn't he? What a collision. It's a first down, but Dickerson had a big collision with Sam Mills. 51, the inside linebacker, but you talk about men meeting men in the middle of a field.
Well, they had a wing back on our left side. It looked like the outside would have been there, but watch the takeoff. Watch the line come off the ball. Talking about the Rams. Look at Harrah, but he gets shoved back. There's enough of a seam, however, between the guard and the center, and he's able to pop through there and get enough for the first down.
Sam Mills is only 5'9", 225. They call him the field mouse, and he plays with great instincts, and you can see he plays hard.
Some kind of an individual move on Waymer, their left cornerback. He's very aggressive. Some kind of a hook and go. Something on him should be very effective.
Dickerson one-on-one with Jackson, and Jackson got a piece of him, but Dickerson gets across the 30 to the 32-yard line as we go inside a minute and a half left in this first quarter. That was Mills eventually making the tackle.
Jackson is a great linebacker. Number 57, played his collegiate football at Pittsburgh. I tell you, he's instinctively smart, does things extremely well. He loves to rush the passer, love the blitz like all linebackers, but he reacts and reads the run very well, too.
Have you got on his radio show, Rapping with Rick? He's got a radio show here in New Orleans. He invited you on yet?
No, not yet. But I hope to get that invitation. You get a bowl of Swifts for being on the show.
Second down, 9. Here's Redden. And Redden close to the 34. Jim Wilkes made the stop. There's a guy that you don't hear a lot about, Jim Wilkes. Jim Finks, the general manager, said he's just solid. He just goes in, does his job, doesn't get a lot of accolades for it, and it's now 3rd and 7.
Well, that defensive line is big and strong, and that time that counterplay was designed to take advantage of the inside pursuit of Clark and Jackson, and that's one of the ways they were going to try to take advantage of that move, but they haven't been able to take advantage of it so far. They've responded very well to almost everything they've seen.
Remember now, the Saints are 3rd in the NFC against the run.
Well, they're in their nickel defense with a 4-man front.
Last play of this first quarter. Bills on target. Ellard, that'll be a first down catch, and Henry Ellard looking much better today than he did Monday night. Makes the catch out to the 46. 13-yard pickup on the play.
That's what I mentioned earlier. You got to get him in the game because he's a big league threat, a home run threat anytime he gets the ball.
We're all even after one quarter. The Superdome would like to see their hometown Saints even up at 500 for the year. Try to get their first winning season in the 20-year history of this franchise. And Hank, they survived 2 turnovers in that first quarter.
Well, they're playing hard, and that's the thing that you have to do. You really have to play hard every play. You got to dance every dance, and that's what they've been doing. That's why they've been playing as well as they played. Talking about New Orleans.
Look at that. Only 4 minutes for the Saints, and Reuben Mays carried the ball only 1 time, and I don't think that's the way Jim Mora wants it.
Well, they're calling a play from the sideline. They're the only ones who can do anything about it.
That's right.
Got to call his number.
First down now for the Rams.
Look at all the room on the corners. They got to be able to throw in front of those corners. There it is.
Bills, Ron Brown is over there. Watlet is there. And that's what they wanted to do, Hank, was go deep 3 or 4 times in this game, as you say, to change the focus.
Well, that time they ran a hook and go, and he had the corner Waymer. Waymer licked, but Watlet got a good jump on the ball, was helping on the post area. Watch this now. They do a good job on Elliott. He gives him a good lane. He pumps, steps up into the pocket, throws the ball deep. And Waymer took a little sniff of the fake, but the ball was thrown deep and outside because I think Steve saw Watlet coming over to make the play.
Second down 10 from the 46. Dickerson in the first quarter, 7 carries, 21 yards. Hill in motion. Eric. He's to the New Orleans 46-yard line, 2 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down coming up. Well, the thing about Dills, even though that didn't connect, Waymer's got to be aware of what could happen over there.
And they're playing deep. I guarantee you, they're playing deep. And as the game progresses, if they keep throwing some long patterns, he might be in the tunnel. Because as soon as he comes off the ball, I tell you, he starts to run. And as a result, anything inside or outside should be very, very good, very effective.
If he goes to the tunnel, let me know, will you?
Yeah.
3rd down now, 2 yards to go. Dickerson again. He's got the first down, 40, 35. Boy, he's something to watch, isn't he? Inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Brent Maxey, 39, eventually making the stop.
That's a nickel blitz that time. Watch the draw play. Swilling, 56 on the outside, is blitzing on the play. Look at the big hole, a big cavity right inside. Look at Pankey, gets a beautiful block on Ricky Jackson, number 57, and he's finally tackled, but not until after he makes the necessary yardage for the first down.
Hank, Dickerson has such deceptive speed. You see how he ran away from Swilling? He just left him there, and it didn't look like he really had it turned on.
Well, the great thing about him, he stretches the average gain into bigger gains, and that's what the great backs are capable of doing.
First down inside the 30.
This is the Dickerson play action.
And it's not going to make a connection. Eric, who they've been throwing to a lot more this year, that time not able to come up with it. Coming into this game, he had 14 catches, and that's been a new dimension this year for Los Angeles.
This is the trap pass. Look at the right guard pulling on the play. Hera, number 60. Plenty of time to throw the ball. Haynes is covering man for man, but he didn't have enough time. I didn't throw it well enough over the top for him to make the catch.
Dickerson out, obviously, now on the 2nd and 10.
Had he had a little ante over on the ball, why he might have been able to catch it.
Charles White's coming to the ball game, and this is White, 33, replacing Eric. And Charles close to the 25. Sam Mills made the stop. John Robinson had an interesting comment about White, who won the Heisman for him at USC. We don't blink that much when White comes in, and that's quite a credit to this guy.
Well, he knows what they like to do, and he knows how to run very well from the I formation. You know, he had a little baby girl last week. Named her Sophia. He's got 5 youngsters, 3 boys and 2 girls. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, Coach.
Well, now you know. Kid.
I tell you, you check on those maternity wards a lot. I noticed
well,
that.
I've been here all week long watching them practice, so it's been a lot of fun.
3rd down, 7. Bills, little pressure. He gets it off. Mike Kuman makes the catch. And that'll be enough for the first down. And that was a difficult catch because very good coverage that time by Von Johnson, number 53, a linebacker.
They had a blitz coming on that. You can't throw the ball any better than he threw it here. And you can't catch it any better. He was well covered, really, by Von Johnson, number 53. And the ball was right where it had to be thrown, and he picks up the necessary yardage for the first down. That's a great throw by Steve Dills.
Here's probably their most versatile back, Mike Kuman. He can play the tight end. He can catch the ball. He can run with it.
And he's a left-handed passer, too.
First down now at the 18. This is Redden. Redden runs into a lot of congestion. Very little developing on that play. Shoved backwards. Good reaction that time by the interior, especially this guy, Haynes. Haynes is a man that probably people in the West Coast area have never heard of. He's out of Mississippi Valley State. He was a free agent. Jim Finks told me last week he's playing as well as any linebacker, and that's saying something because Ricky Jackson on the other side has played well for New Orleans.
Well, I think what happens, you know, most of the people run away from Ricky Jackson and Bruce Clark, and so they run at Haynes. He's getting a lot of experience in a hurry.
2nd down, 9 yards to go. Bills to Dickerson. Dickerson inside penalty flag. The ball is being fought for in there. Who's got it?
Looks like a fumble.
Yes, it does, and it is New Orleans football. Alvin Tolles has it. There is a penalty flag, though. See what that's all about. Penalty flag at the 12-yard line.
It must be against the Rams, but let's wait and see.
Holding, and they, of course, will refuse that.
Holding. Offense. Number 81. Penalty is declined. New Orleans ball. First down.
Hank, we're going to take a peek from the end zone. See if you can pick it up.
Straight ahead shot. Newberry coming off the ball.
Tolles got it, Hank, but I don't know where it came out.
No, I couldn't see where the holding was. I really, you know, that was not any different than usually it is. There's always holding almost on every play. I couldn't tell it.
But I don't know where the ball got away from it.
Tolles recovered the fumble.
Yep.
54.
First down, so 3 turnovers in this game. Here comes Mays. Reuben Mays bursts out of there. So after 1 carry in the first quarter, he gets big yardage. Vince Newsom eventually making the stop, a 17-yard gain.
As we talked earlier, you know, it's ridiculous to change the focus and not give the ball to your best guy. Here he is, right up the middle. And here again, they control the line of scrimmage. There's no penetration. there whatsoever, and he fights right through some traffic. Bad tackling, and he almost broke it all the way. Jerry Gray was coming from the outside, but he was the last guy.
He almost broke it, and that brings up a point, because Jim Mora says the thing you don't know about Mays is how strong his legs are. He will shed tacklers. They go with that blazing speed. First down run of 17. This time doesn't get started. Good reaction by the Rams up front. Mike Wilcher, 54, leading the charge. 59, Mark Giroux.
You know, and the ridiculous thing about it, being here watching them practice all week long, everybody on the Ram team, that's all they talk about. We got to stop Mays. We got to stop Mays. And in the first quarter, he carries the ball once, so you don't have to worry about stopping him. They stopped him. You know, the Saints stopped him from being a factor in the game in the first quarter.
Got to go to your strengths, right?
Sure, that's right.
Second down, 9. Martin comes split to the near side. As you look from the end zone, Dave Wilson at the controls. This is Mays again. There's that cutback ability, and he's close to the 40-yard line, some 3 yards short of the first down. Last week we saw him completely reverse direction and take it in for a touchdown.
Well, but this time they got some penetration. Watch Sean Miller, number 93, on the nose of the center. Watch him. He's coming around there, and also Doug Reed. They get a hand on him. They slow him down enough where they get some help from Vince Newsom, who makes the tackle, number 22. But you got to slow him down. You got to get some shots by getting penetration.
Last week, 128 yards for Mays. 3 100-yard days. Third down, 4. Wilson again with excellent protection, and that catch almost made by Eric Martin. Martin coming over the middle. But again, this offensive line is protecting him. On 3rd and 4, they don't convert. They'll have to punt the football.
They got a blitz coming here. Watch number 54 coming, but they pick him up in good shape. Court picks him up, throws the ball right on the money. The ball should have been caught that time, but Jerry Gray did a good job of covering on the play, and Eric Martin dropped the football. Should have caught it.
Hansen with a 59-yard effort today. We'll try this one. Henry Ellard is back deep. Last year he led the league in punt returns. Taking his time is Hansen, and he hits it well. Fair catch by Ellard and almost a collision. Maxey was there. And at the 18-yard line, the Rams will take it a 43-yard punt. Still no score. Hank, it's interesting. As you look at the Rams, they've had the football quite a while. Look at this last drive. 14 plays, almost 7.5 minutes. Just haven't been able to get the continuity going. You've had 2 turnovers by New Orleans, 1 by the Rams thus far.
Yeah, the only thing, you know, that's so vitally important, when you get an opportunity, you've got to get points. 3, 7, anything, but you got to get points, and they haven't been able to do that.
Well, they missed the field goal of 37 yards in the first quarter. From the 18, first down. Dills to Dickerson. Mills is there first. Sam Mills playing a powerful game in the early going, over there to make that stop. Next Saturday, it's a doubleheader day of college football here on CBS, starting with Wisconsin against the Buckeyes of Ohio State. They've won 8 straight now. That's followed by game 2 of the doubleheader with UCLA taking on Washington, and then, Hank, Clemson against Maryland. That's in Baltimore. That will be a coachless game. Neither Danny Ford or Bobby Ross can be on the sideline.
That could be one of the better games in the history of football, with both of them up in the press box. You never know.
They can't interfere, huh?
Yeah.
Bill 6 of 9 for 39. He's already completed as many passes as he did Monday night. Dickerson. Boy, that play didn't get underway. Sam Mills torpedoed underneath. Sam Mills is playing like he's possessed out there right now.
Well, both Hanna and the center were blocking Elliott. 2 guys on Elliott, and nobody on the little linebacker, Sam Mills, number 51. That's why he was able to make the play and stuff the play. I tell you, Tony Elliott, number 99, is really doing a terrific job in the middle of that defensive line.
Well, he's another 300-pounder, as you might say. 300-pounders are in vogue now in the NFL.
That used to be the exception. Now it's the rule. James Geathers, number 97, is on Newberry, and he's a good rusher from the inside. Let's take a look at what happens here with Newberry and 97.
3rd and 8, and they're going to throw it. And Dickerson pays for it. Unloading was a man you just mentioned, Gathers, who leads them in sacks. He is 6'7". He was a junior college basketball player at Paducah, Kentucky.
I tell you, he's big and strong. They use him on the outside, but really he's better inside and creates a lot of problems. And the great thing about him is, you know, for a big guy, he gets down there good and low and gets good leverage.
Big rush. They almost got it. We're going to have a penalty flag. Eric Martin coming up. Let's see if we've got a roughing or what is the penalty all about. They were so close to getting to that one. Hatcher with a 35-yard punt. They thought they could get him today, Hank. That was their game plan, is to come after Dale Hatcher.
Well, talking to Hatcher during the course of the week.
It's against the Rams, by the way.
Well, talking to him during the course of the week.
Look at John. Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
There's John very upset about the call. I don't know whether he knows for sure what happened.
Ineligible on the kicking team, downfield, number 90. Penalty declined. It will be the New Orleans ball. First down.
Well, John, I think, thought his kicker was interfered with. I don't know if we have it. Let's look at it.
Let's
Our
take another
director,
look at
Peter
this.
Bleckner, has it. Let's see if we think it was going to be roughing the kicker. Let's see. Watch it. What do you think?
I don't know. It looked like it was a pretty good job of acting. I don't think they really made contact on him. I think he just hit the deck.
Well, John Robinson doesn't agree with you. He didn't think that was an acting job at all, but the officials think differently.
Middle of the picture, Herbert Harris, 80, and it looks like he's the one that gives him a shot on the outside. You don't see it very clearly, but it looks like he's the one that delivered a blow and knocked him down.
I think John had a legitimate beat. You can't make contact with that guy. If you're blocked into him, that's a different matter. First down now at the 46-yard line. Jordan in motion. 0-0 our score. Wilson again with excellent protection. There's just nobody getting to him, Hank. Over to Martin on a throwback. But Wilson back there having all kinds of time. And this Ram front four just hasn't gotten back there at all.
Talking to Fritz Schirmer, the defensive coordinator, and who does such a great job with the Ram defense, he said, we've got to play on the other side of the football. We've got to play on their side of the ball. We got to get penetration. There's Fritz right there on the sideline. And so far, they have not been able to penetrate that offensive line.
They have 25 sacks this year. 3 for 835 yards for Wilson. Here's Mays. And he slides to the 50-yard line. It'll be 5 yards short of the first down. Mel Owens making the stop. Owens playing as well as he's ever played in his career. A sixth-year man out of Michigan. So it'll bring up third down, 6 yards to go as Owens will leave. The thing I love about this Ram defense, they all have a purpose. Guys come in, they all add to this football team. They alternate the safeties. They come in with a nickel defense. They have specialties for rushing the passer and playing the run.
Well, I think John feels, they have to be fresh. He wants a fresh football team. He doesn't want them to be tired, and that's why he uses as many people as he does.
3rd and 6. Wilson over the top. Martin. It's a foot race. And he fumbled it. He fumbled the football. And the Rams have it. Leroy Irvin comes up with it. Jerry Gray stripped the ball. Irvin came up with it. And you don't think Martin is going to see that replay during the week. He was carrying that ball away from his body.
Isn't that something? That really is amazing. I don't know where. Yeah, they got the ball, it looks like.
Yeah, there's a penalty flag, however, at the 5. You could see that developing, Hank. He had that ball out there for a long time. Walter Payton can do that, but not very many people can. 48-yard game, but they lose the football. That's the 3rd turnover against the Saints now, and Martin has had 2 of them.
And they had some pressure on Wilson that time, but they didn't get enough pressure on him. He did a great job of getting the ball off like he did.
Boy, Hank, I've heard you preach about protecting that football, putting it away. He's smiling, but I don't know how he can be smiling. Martin losing it. Looked like he was going to take it in.
We have a personal foul on the offensive team, grasping the face mask, a fumble recovered by the Rams. LA, first down.
Well, let's go back, reconstruct all this. That's got to be a disappointed Dave Wilson after that play he just made.
Now watch Martin. He gets a jam here by Jerry Gray. Here he's going down the field. Catches it right inside the number. A missed tackle by Cromwell, number 21. Gray's in hot pursuit. Look at the way he's carrying that football away from his body. And Gray slapped it loose. That's what he did. And Irvin picked it up and recovered the fumble.
Boy, Jerry Gray has been a big surprise this year, replacing the injured Gary Green, and that is a big play. Dickerson dropped by Vaughn Johnson, 53. Hank, 3 turnovers, and yet they're still even in this football game. You cannot play the Rams and keep doing that. You're going to self-destruct.
Well, I tell you, we talked about it earlier. It's like playing an inter-squad game. They both play the same kind of football. They just hang in there tough. There's two sledgehammer teams. They wait for the other team to make a mistake. And even though they've made mistakes, they haven't been able to capitalize on what they've been able to make happen from a defensive standpoint.
Wild NFC West, as we now have a 2nd down 10 from the 4.
This is a good time to throw the ball up on top and try to get the ball to one of those outside guys, Brown or Ellard, to get that defense back there. They're in a double zone now. It's going to be tough.
Redden trying to get some operating room, and that's not going to go anywhere because 54, Alvin Tolles is there. So this crowd right now is pumped up. It's the Superdome in the Crescent City of New Orleans. The battle between the Rams and the New Orleans Saints. No score with 4:47 to go in the 2nd quarter. Turnovers? Well, no one has been able to capitalize on them thus far. And right now, the Saints have the Rams backed up. 3rd down 8, just outside the 5-yard line.
Down in here is a good thing, you know, to go up there and go in a quick count and get the ball up on top while they're trying to get set and trying to reconstruct their defensive alignment.
Redden and Dickerson, the running backs. Dickerson trying to get outside. Waymer is there, so is Mills.
Here they try to run the ball. Watch Ricky Jackson. He gets caught inside. They go outside of him. Waymer comes up, 44, and also Mills, number 51.
A rush on Hatcher. He got it away, but not with a lot to spare. Here's Eric Martin from his own 47-yard line. He'll get to the Ram 48 before he's grounded. Coming over there is Vince Newsom. 50-yard punt, 4-yard return. The Saints now will have excellent field position. 3:45 to go in the first half. They still are even in this game, and now, Hank, good field position, almost to the Ram 48-yard line.
You know, the other thing about Mora, he said a pretty good thing the other day in our meeting with him. He said, you know, we got to keep him under 100 yards, talking about Dickerson, but we got to pound on him. We got to keep hitting him and hitting him and hitting him to punish him. And everything he has to get has to be very difficult. And so far, they're playing that way when Dickerson gets the ball.
Jim Mora felt the two guys that have influenced him the most as a coach, Dick Vermeil, of course, the outstanding coach of the Eagles, and Don James, the coach at the University of Washington. A lot of that same tenacity, organizational ability those two have. First down. Reuben Mays.
Ooh.
Boy, is he straightened out. Penalty flag on the play. He started one way, and all of a sudden the direction shifted.
Mark Giroux, number 59, really attacked the play well.
That's going to be holding against the Saints. Well, the thing that you've been pointed out, Hank, and it becomes more and more obvious as we listen here for the
Holding. Offense. Number 66. Repeat the down. First down.
That's Chuck Kaminsky, 66. Hank, the thing you're mentioning time and time again is if the line of scrimmage, the Saints are knocking people off and both sides of the ball.
Well, they're certainly doing a good job of that. They really are.
And that's not to be expected either.
Well, the other thing the Saints do, if we can get a good picture of it, they really take excessive splits and they widen the gaps. And so as a result, they provide themselves a lot of running room.
There's a fake reverse. Mays keeps it. They had faked the reverse to the near side. Mays keeping. Vince Newsom making the stop. So they pick a little of that yardage up. Still going to be second down, long yardage to go. There's the split you're talking about.
Yeah, look at the big splits. Now he goes outside. Kaminsky, look at 966, gets an outside block, but he's knocked through the block. And Newsom finally gets the tackle, and Sean Miller comes from his nose position and gets good penetration and helps make the play.
Back to pick up that point, though, the thing that you always hear about the Rams is how tough they are mentally, that they're going to wear you down. But right now, the Saints haven't backed up a step. Second down, 19. In motion is Mike Jones. Reuben Mays comes out of there, and he's inside the 50, back to about the original line of scrimmage, the 48-yard line. Newsom caught him there. You can see the acceleration this rookie from Washington State has.
Watch the left side. Watch number 70. Kantz come off the ball. Look at Edelman, 63. Kantz hooks the defensive end, Reggie Das, and as a result, he's able to cut outside of the block. And number 22, Vince Newsom, finally makes the tackle. But really, the left tackle, number 70, really did a good job of blocking Reggie Das.
There's the comparisons thus far. Dickerson carrying the ball twice as much as Mays comes out of the lineup. We're going to have the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go in this first half. I don't think many people figured we'd have a scoreless first half, but right now that's where we are at the Superdome. Morton Anderson, who's just been brilliant last year, kicked 5 field goals against these Rams, and if they get to about the 35, he'll have a crack at one.
Oh yeah, he's in business, and he said, talking to him the other day, he said anytime the ball goes across the 50-yard line, I start warming up.
Look at that, he's missed only 1 against the Rams. I know John Robinson didn't want to face him.
And the other thing he says is, I walk in the opposite direction of where the team is coming from to get a good focus on where the ball is so I can come on the field and do my job. I start to concentrate. I try to envision the ball going through the uprights. Those are all the things I do to prepare myself once the ball gets beyond the 50-yard line.
They need to get to the 35. They're at the 48. 3rd down now, 9. Buford Jordan, the only running back. Wilson stepping up, and too tall that time. Gary Jeter putting some pressure on Wilson, who flushed him out of there and eventually got on top of him.
Yeah, you know, Gary, I've got to make a correction, too. I was wrong on that run by Mays. It was Jeter who got hooked by Kantz and not Reggie Doss. He's going off the field now, but there was a good play on the part of the Saints because he's a good rusher, and they decided evidently to run a play on him, and it succeeded in making a lot of yardage.
Jeter was out Monday night with a hamstring injury, but back in this one. So it's 4th down. Hansen to punt. Ellard to receive it. Hansen taking his time. No real pressure put on, and he tries to strategically place it, and he's done a pretty good job. It's inside the 15-yard line at the 13.
There's a great illustration of what happens when a knockout kicker tries to steer the ball. See, he tried to finesse the ball and didn't kick it very well. It turned out all right, but he didn't kick it nearly as well as he normally does.
34-yarder. Coming up at halftime on the NFL Today, Brent Irv and Ali Sherman with scores and highlights. And then from holdout to silent hero, Joe Morris was the big reason behind the Giants' success, and Butler will have that story at halftime. Of course, the Giants tied with the Rams and the Redskins with 7-2 records in the NFC. 1:47 left in the first half. 1st down 10.
Let's take a look at Tony Elliott, number 99, on the nose of the center.
Dickerson coming up. Dave Waymer's there. Waymer just waiting on him that time. Grounded him at the 15-yard line. Waymer, a very aggressive cornerback. And that gain will be for 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
That's why, you know, he is a very tough corner. Makes a lot of tackles. Very aggressive coming after the ball. And that's why you have to do something to keep him deep. Especially with some kind of an individual move. Especially back on the flag or the corner.
Get him to sniffing a little bit, huh?
Take a little whip.
2nd down 8. Dickerson now has only had 3 yards in his last 6 carries. Show you how tough it's been to run against the Saints. There's a misdirection. Barry Redden, and he is tackled. And that's Sam Mills again. And I'll tell you, Sam Mills has played some first half here today. He has been all over the football field.
That was a counter play with Redden that time, and Sam Mills, number 51, stuck his head right in the hole and made the tackle on Redden. It really looked like something was going to develop, but it never did because he plugged it so quickly.
Saints quickly ask for a timeout. They have 2 remaining. Mills is one of those guys, Hank, the computer would spit out. They say he can't play, he's not tall enough. But the one thing that doesn't go into a computer is that big Valentine you're always talking about, plus great instincts. That's something you can't coach.
Well, he's only 5'9" and weighs 225. But you talk about instinct. You know, he's a little bit like Oddjob. You know, in that 007 movie, the guy with the derby, you know, how tough he was and how sturdy he was. That's the way he plays that linebacker position.
Now, that's one from the past. That dates you a little bit, Coach.
Oh, everybody remembers Oddjob.
Well, John Robinson, he says, though, if we can stay even, we feel like the 4th quarter is ours. But I'm sure he's very disappointed in the fact that they are scoreless in this first half. Boy, I tell you, they don't win pretty, but there's something about this Ram team when it gets down to the end, they get those W's.
Well, they do, but they're going to have to work like gangbusters in the second half to get that W because the Saints are playing extremely well, and they really have had the advantage from a field standpoint, field position standpoint.
3rd down and 6.
The big thing that they got to be careful of here is when they deviate from what they normally do well, to cough the ball up.
Well, Dickerson going no place again. And, Hank, right now, they aren't even getting close to running the football. Dickerson's had no chance. Ricky Jackson stuffed him. And now John Robinson seen that they have asked for another timeout. Saints have one remaining. Now, maybe John thought they didn't run enough time off the clock. He was looking at the scoreboard. Anyway, they're going to have to get rid of the ball. There's still 53 seconds left. The Saints with one timeout.
Now they got to be careful, too. They don't get this punt block because they've been coming very, very close.
That was the game plan. Morris says we're going after him. They've been close. Hatcher will go back.
You know, and Hatcher said yesterday, he said, you know, I know they're going to come after me because we've had a lot of problems. We've had 3 different snappers. We had Ed Brady. We had Laughlin. And now we got McDonald. And I'm sure that people are going to continue to come after me because they don't think I've kicked very well. And talking to Johnny Robinson and the coaches the other day, why they indicated that they thought maybe Dale was trying too hard to steer the ball. They try to tell him to kick the ball 40 yards and get a hang time of 4.8 to 5.4. And sometimes when you play that kind of a kicking game, when you're kind of a knockout kicker, it's hard to make the adjustment. You try to steer the ball, and you come across your body with the kick, and as a result, you have a lot of bad kicks.
He was holding the ball wrong, too. Here is the rush. He got it underway. Martin waits on it to the 40-yard line. He's going to try to get out of bounds, stop the clock, and gets close to the 50-yard line. So with Morton Anderson in 43 seconds, you still got a chance to get on the scoreboard. That was a 42-yard punt, 11-yard return. Changes your perspective, doesn't it, when you have Anderson on the sideline? You look offensively at your game a little differently.
Well, you certainly do, because, you know, anytime he gets close to that 35, 40-yard line, why, he's always got a chance to make the kick, and especially inside where there's no elements involved.
They have the one timeout left. Morris says he thinks he could kick a 60-yarder. This year, he has kicked him over 50 yards on 2 occasions, and they might get a crack at one here. 43 seconds. Wilson, a lot of time again, and a catch. Was it made? It's intercepted. It came up in the air, and Vince Newsom came out of there with it. The ball deflected, and Eric Martin has had all kinds of difficulty today. The ball seemingly just doesn't stay in his person, and he lost a catch that turns into an interception.
It looked like it might have hit the shoulder pad and popped off. Here again, look at, there's plenty of time. Look at the protection, and look at the big alley he's got to look downfield to throw the football. Now watch what this. Yeah, it hits him right in the chest. It looks like it hits the shoulder pad and bounces right out of there, and it's intercepted by Vince Newsom, number 22.
Giroux helped him cradle the football. Martin's had a whole career in this first half of having the ball bounce around.
The Rams have 3 timeouts with 32 seconds.
Well, that's Goodlow, but it was Martin, the guy who actually had the ball bounced away from him. Newsom with the interception, setting it up now at the 42-yard line. There it is, up the field. Ellard. Oh, did he take a shot? Ellard hit very hard that time. Coming over was Watlet. Watlet will fly around and hit people.
It didn't look like he got the ball there quickly enough into the zone. Watch Geathers, number 97, on Newberry. They cave it in a little bit. He throws the ball over the top of Ricky Jackson. Had he gotten there just a little quicker, he might have had a chance to make the catch.
Ellard, after that 89-day holdout, probably wonders why he came back after that play. Swelling came from the backside that time, put the pressure on.
He reconsidered it quickly after looking at his contract.
Here, stepping up is Dills. Dumps it off. The ball is fumbled, and the Saints have this one if it's not ruled dead. Let's see. It is New Orleans football.
Oh, you talk about a crazy game.
Going to set a record in turnovers today.
Now they dumped the ball off to Gooman, number 44, who is inside watching. He tries to sneak underneath the linebackers. He makes the catch low, brings it up, tucks it away, and right about the time he's starting to run with the ball, he gets hit from the backside by Ricky Jackson, number 57. Bruce Clark is also involved in the play, and the Saints have possession again on about the plus 46.
Man shaken up is Gooman. 6 turnovers in this game, and nobody has scored thus far. And again, with 19 seconds, the Saints still have to think about trying to get Morton Anderson close enough for a field goal. Gooman coming off. That was Jackson, a very savvy linebacker who reached in there and got that football away. And Hank, I don't know when I've done a game where they've had that many turnovers, nobody score any points.
No, especially with good teams involved.
Yeah.
And both teams, you know, have been so involved in making sure they don't make big mistakes. And both teams have made enough in this game the last half the season.
A lifetime. So Mora, with one timeout left, his team has the ball at the 46 of Los Angeles. And as Hank mentioned, if they could get to the 35, then Morton Anderson's got a crack at it. And they still have that one timeout left to set up the field goal team. Jim, who in 3 years with the Philadelphia Baltimore Stars, won 48 games, more, by the way, than the Saints have won in 9 years. So he's trying to get to the 500 mark. They've won 3 of their last 4. Their biggest performance coming last week in that win against San Francisco. At halftime, we'll be joining Brent Musburger and Irv and Ali Sherman. Feature on Joe Morris, the Giants running back. New Orleans in their last 4 possessions has started on their own 46, 48, 50, and 46. And again, Hank, haven't been able to score.
Well, it's a great tribute to the way the defense has played for the Rams. But you can just hold on for so long, and all of a sudden that rope is going to break.
There's Morton. He thought he might have a shot at it the last series. Out of Michigan State.
Well, they're going to be in a zone defense, I'm sure, and so they got to try to get the ball in the middle area someplace downfield, just close enough for a first down to get the ball in the kicking position.
Wilson looking, broken up and deflected. Now stop the clock with 14 seconds. Like Mel Owens over there, number 58 in the traffic pattern. You can see what they're trying to do, Hank. Exactly. Nothing cleared, though, over the middle.
No, that's right. And Mel Owens knocked the ball down, but they have to try to throw the ball in the middle area, down in the area of the 30-yard line on one big play.
So it brings up 2nd down 10 with 14 seconds. By the way, Los Angeles was charged with a timeout in the last 2 minutes because of an injury, so they only have 2 left, but that's academic. 1 left for the Saints.
Even a check to the back could be very effective at that.
Penalty flag and intercepted. Leroy Irvin's got it. Irvin will come out of there after another deflected pass. This is another turnover, 7 in this football game. And with 2 seconds left in the first half, both coaches are probably going to go to the dressing room and start over.
You know what I would do? I'd line up for a field goal and fake it and try to make a big play before the half. That's right.
Would you really?
Well, sure. They're all going to try to block it. We did that one time against Houston, and there wasn't anybody around. Tom Flores was the holder. They broke his
Illegal
nose.
motion. Offense, number 70. Penalty decline. L.A. first down.
That's Bill Kuntz, who is guilty of the penalty.
But we faked the kick, and watch Irvin now, number 47. Turns to the inside. The ball is overthrown, makes the interception. Does a good job of bringing the ball back. He's a good runner once he catches the ball. Soft shoes around. Wants to make sure he maintains possession of the ball. Well, here they go.
2 seconds left. They're going to try that Big Ben play. They got everybody split to this side. Bill's last gasp effort here in the first half. That ball at the 5, and the Saints are there, and Van Jakes almost had an interception. Wouldn't that have been something? We'd had 8 turnovers if he'd have had that one. So that is the end of this first half of play with the score. The Rams nothing, the Saints nothing at the Superdome. Nothing our score. We talked about the difficulty Eric Martin was having, Coach, in the first half. He did have a couple of turnovers, but we want to correct something. Going back and watching the replay on this, I thought this was Eric Martin coming across the middle. It was Eugene Goodlow. The ball bounced away and eventually was picked off by Vince Newsom. So we don't want to make it any worse than it has been for Eric Martin in a very peculiar first half where he turned over the ball twice, once on a punt return and another on a pass catch.
Very unusual.
Here's the kickoff now by Lansford. Herbert Harris will have it for the Saints. Harris, out to the 22-yard line, and he is drilled there. The hitting has been something. Norwood Van was over there to make the stop as Wilson will come in. There has not been a first down since 10:25 of the second quarter. Shows you how inept this game has been offensively. Dave Wilson's stats not all that impressive either. 1 of 6 for 6 yards and 2 interceptions. That's on first down, of course, and now he has a first down at the 22-yard line. Jordan along with Mays in the backfield. Nothing doing there. Reuben Mays got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all. Carl Ecker, number 55, a vastly underrated football player, calls the defensive signals. And Mays felt the onslaught there. Second down 10.
Sean Miller, that time, number 98, got a good push also that closed the gap, and he had no place to run whatsoever.
Sean Miller, number 98, nicknamed Dirt. Ask him why. He says, well, my coach at Utah State said I never washed my jerseys.
It must have been a great league when the player has to wash his own shirt.
Second down 10. In motion is Harris. Here's Reuben Mays. Boy, there's nothing going there because Jerry Gray came up. And we mentioned Miller earlier. He comes back to help. Jerry Gray can only he can do a lot of things, can he? Intercept the ball and fill on the run support.
Sean Miller and Gray both came up the field and attacked the play. Watch Sean Miller, number 98, on the nose of the center. Watch him use his hands. Watch him get penetration. Look at the good angle that he takes. They can knock him off his feet, and he finally goes over in hot pursuit and makes the play along with Jerry Gray.
Well, he said he's getting comfortable that nose tackle spot after being a defensive end.
And he didn't practice all week long because he's got a bad shoulder.
Third down 13. Wilson back. Protection is there and wide open. Here comes a man, Goodlow, and Goodlow can't hang on. This is an unbelievable football game. I don't know what's wrong with the football out there. Edelman eventually fell on it. Hank, it's like they need to put some sticky stuff on that. It's just that type of afternoon thus far.
Here we go again. Here's a blitz. Wilshire coming, but very timidly. Does not get good penetration at all. Throws the ball right on the money inside to Gene Goodlow. Knocks the ball loose. And it bounces around and finally recovered by the Brad Edelman, number 63.
Have you ever seen anything like it?
No, never had.
Start the second half like the first was played.
Mitch Miller would like this game. Remember, though, follow the bouncing ball.
That's right. Here's the punt to Ellard, to the 31, to the 35, and good second effort that time by Brett Maxey to get back to make the tackle. 41-yard punt, 5-yard return, and the Rams will have it at the 35-yard line. Steve Dills, who's 3-0 as the starter since replacing Steve Bartkowski. There is what he's done on first down, 4 of 8 for 18 yards.
You know, the one thing I can't understand, they really haven't done much play action on 1st and 10, and normally the way the New Orleans Saints react so quickly to what they see, that seems like it would be very efficient, very effective.
From the 35-yard line, the Rams have their first crack at it here in the second half. Dills with protection and on target, but nope, Ellard can't stay in bounds, and it'll be an incomplete pass. Dills picking himself up. Jim Wilkes, that defensive end spot, putting the heat on. I would imagine, Hank, that it's tough for Ellard and Dills to hook up in that timing. Ellard hasn't played that much, just coming back, and Dills replacing Bartkowski. You know, interchangeable parts. It's hard to get the timing going.
It really is. And of course, you know, you spend a lot of time after practice, and that's where you really increase the timing and the efficiency of the relationship between a quarterback and the receivers, and they haven't been around that much. Ellard hasn't, especially.
Second down 10. That's David Hill in motion. Dickerson again. Dickerson out to the 39-yard line, and Eric has just had to work for everything you can get. Tony Elliott over to make the stop. As we mentioned, his last 7 carries in the first half, he gained 3 yards. Now it's 3rd down and 7.
Some kind of a reverse, some kind of a misdirection play other than what they've used should be very effective against the way the Saints are playing. They're chasing like crazy, and as a result, something coming back away from the initial flow should be very good.
Well, statistically, we knew the Saints were good against the rush, but I think today people were waiting to see if they could stop Dickerson. Thus far, it's happened.
And that's a big, strong offensive line we're talking about, the Los Angeles Rams.
3rd down 7. Dills, and his man fell down. The intended receiver was Michael Young at the 50-yard line. He fell down, and it brings up 4th down. You ever done a nothing game, Hank?
I can't remember doing one, no. I really can't.
Well, for the low-scoring enthusiasts, this is right down their alley.
But both teams said, you know, we want to have a chance to win the game in the 4th quarter. The way
they just bypassed the first 3 and
That's
get there.
right. Yep.
Here's Hatcher. No rush this time. Here's Martin coming up. And he makes a fair catch at the 25-yard line. So from the 25 after a 35-yard punt, the Saints have the football in a 0-0 game. Spectacular city here, New Orleans. The Oysters jiving in the street. And inside the spectacular Superdome, the site of today's NFC West battle, a game that thus far is scoreless. 0-0 between the Saints and Rams. I'm Gary Bender along with Hank Stram. 11 minutes, 36 seconds to go in this third quarter of play. In the last 11 possessions in this game, neither team has run for more than 3 plays. By the way, today is Al Hurt's birthday, isn't it? They were just signaling that here in the Superdome.
Yeah, just waving to him down in front. There he is.
Right down below us. He could come up and give us a little entertainment during the game.
That'd help.
A little background music. Dave Wilson for the first down. Reuben Mays makes the catch, and he's going to get some yardage on this one. Out to the 40, 42, and he converted that one into a modest gain, into a big first down gain. Johnny Johnson eventually rammed him out of bounds, and he just seemed to slide away from him that time.
Well, Eckern, number 55, had a shot, and so did Mel Owen. Both of them had a shot at him. Watch. Look at, he gets the ball between the linebackers. Here comes a miss. Eckern misses him, 55. Mel Owen misses him, 58, and he's finally knocked out of bounds by Johnny Johnson, number 20.
That is the first down since the second quarter in this game. Mays on that gainer. By the way, Mike Gooman is out of the game with bruised ribs. He will not return for the Rams. First down at the 41. Mays tripped up. That's going to be Doug Reed, 93, credited with the tackle. Reed out of San Diego State. He started all 16 games last year after the retirement of Jack Youngblood. Lost that starting call due to a contractual problem. Now back in when Sean Miller moved to nose tackle.
He did a good job that time defensively because he got the penetration. He played on the other side of the ball, and as a result made the tackle on Reuben Mays. Doug Reed, number 93.
Second down now, 11 yards to go. 0-0 our score. 10:53 to go in the third quarter. Wilson with time, and this catch is made. It's very close to the first down. Mike Jones, let's see where they mark it. Jones has been relatively quiet the last 2 weeks. Makes a 12-yard catch for the first down.
Mike Jones anchored to the right side, a play-action fake, and not very good fake, but they want to get back in the pocket and throw the ball. It's thrown low, but he makes a great catch. Mike Jones, number 86.
You're not going to intercept that one, are you, Henry?
No
Gray
way.
had no chance on that one.
Unless you're Bill Barty, the midget.
Mike Jones, by the way, picked up from the Minnesota Vikings for Wayne Wilson, has played very well, but the last 2 weeks he's been quiet. Doesn't have the blazing speed, but an excellent route runner. First down now at the 48-yard line. That's Tice, the tight end, in motion. Pitch that way to Mays. Mays hunting and a pecking, and he gets some yardage to the 41 of Los Angeles. Greg Meisner, number 69, over there on the stop.
And they ran that from an unusual formation. Normally he runs from the I formation. That time he was in a fullback position. It was overloaded to the left side, and they ran him back without a lead back to the right side, and he did a terrific job of running and making something happen.
Saints started to make something happen. Coming up next now, the second half of the doubleheader. The 49ers with Joe Montana back in the lineup. Cliff Stout expected to start for the Cardinals. Second down, a long 3. Reuben Mays diving forward. That may be enough for another first down. And right now, Hank, this is the best the Saints have looked.
Well, you know why? They're getting back to what they normally do best. Give the ball to Reuben Mays, come off the ball, give him some daylight, and run the football. They were trying to, I never forget talking to Johnny Wooden years ago and talked about scouting and all those kind of things, and he made a very profound observation. He said, I never worry about the opposition. I never scout the opposition even. I just worry about my team, making sure that my team does the best things they possibly can do with the ability they have, and that's the way we play. And in the first half, either one of those two teams have really done that extremely well.
First down for the Saints. Morton Anderson warming up on the sideline if they need him. Dalton Hilliard now comes in for a change of pace, replacing Mays. There is a penalty flag, however, as he gets inside the 35-yard line. New Orleans has as many first downs on this drive as they had the entire first half, to show you how their efficiency has picked up. Going to go against the Saints, so that'll bring it back. nice change of pace. You got a Mays, and you can bring another rookie in like Dalton Hilliard. That's nice depth for Jim Mora.
Well, Dalton Hilliard is a terrifically outstanding runner, especially between the tackles. He's very quick. He's short and stubby and has terrific speed along with the quickness. And as a result, he
illegal procedure on the offense. Number 77, an ineligible player, was playing in an eligible position. Replay the down. First down.
That's Darren Gilbert. He's a second-round draft pick from a year ago. Boy, that made Gilbert feel very bad. The long explanation, right? I think he probably just soon he'd forget who he was. There's the penalties now. Very even. 4 for 26. So now it's 1st and 15 from the 42.
Now they're getting into that kicking area, too, that you have to be concerned about.
Well, they were a couple of yards short of getting close enough for Anderson. The penalty moving him back, and they're going to get it back with this one. Reuben Mays, 35, and that'd be close enough now for Morton Anderson. The way this game's going, you got to think that way. The field goal could be the difference.
This time it looks like he runs right by Sean Miller, number 98. Court, number 60, the center. Hooks him to the inside. He runs outside of that block, and that's why he's able to get the penetration. Look at the blocking downfield by Comiskey, number 66, and he pops through there for a big gain.
Comiskey's shaken up. He was shaken up last week. Returned to the starting lineup. He's the oldest member on this football team of the Saints at 28 years of age. The Saints are in Morton Anderson territory now with a 2nd down and 8 from the 35. 7:40 to go. Third quarter, no score. Herbert Harris in motion. Buford Jordan. Nice second effort. Boy, he converted that into something. There wasn't anything there. He's about 2 yards short of the first down to the 30. Johnny Johnson running into him, and they get closer for this man. Morton Anderson, it'll be 3rd and 2.
And he says again, as soon as he gets to the other side of the 50, I start thinking about the kick. Try to envision it going through the goalpost just like you do when you play golf.
Tell you what, I'd like to have him on my golf team, as accurate as he is. He practices with goalposts that are half the width of the regulation ones he kicks in on game day. Just to zero in a little bit closer. 3rd down, 2. Little mix-up. Tyson Gilbert switching. Here's Tyson motion. Jordan hit hard. I don't think he got the first down. Reggie Doss made the penetration first, number 71. Doss is just an unselfish player. Nobody really seems to notice him out there. But he's always ready to play. Jordan shaken up. He's coming off the field limping. Here he comes. He's the guy that got the game ball last week for his outstanding blocking and a remarkable catch that he made.
You know, you watch him play, and you never see one guy ever knocking backward. He's always falling forward. They're measuring now. Let's see.
I don't think they got it, Coach. Let's see. Oh, I might be wrong. Nope, they didn't.
They didn't get it.
It didn't look like initially. So now with Anderson, you got to kick it, right?
Yeah, I think so. You got to go for the 3 points. This has been a taffy pull so far. You got to try to get some points from the board. As hard as they've been to get, you got to take advantage of it when you have the chance.
Well, this is Mr. Automatic. 14 of 17, and now Wilson's coming in, and they changed their mind, Coach. How about that?
Well, you know, the rule of thumb is usually if it's a yard or more, you're going to kick the field goal. If it's less than a yard, especially a short yard, you're going to try to make it, and evidently that's what prevailed right here.
Well, the crowd loves it. They always love it until you don't make it.
Well, that's right. If you don't make it, then you're a dummy for not kicking a field goal.
You're dumb.
That's right.
Here we go. There's Wilson trying to wedge it forward. They got it.
Watch the line play here. Watch Court come off the ball. They get a good push, and he follows Court, number 60, and gets enough of a push and a shove to make the necessary yardage for the first down.
What helps you in this case, Hank, is that Wilson's 6'3", 206 pounds. So you've got some bulk there. You've got some strength to go at that quarterback sneak.
Yeah, that's right. You've got some muscle.
First down now with 5:20 to go in this third quarter. Herbert Harris in motion. Reuben Mays got a convoy. He gets inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Mel Owens cutting down. Owens, excellent open field tackler. He reported late this year because of contract problems, but you like him, Hank. You've talked a lot about Mel Owens, and maybe one of those guys that gets lost in this outstanding overall defensive look.
Well, he's usually on the strong side, and as a result, doesn't blitz. Here's Reed coming off the field. Doug Reed, their fine defensive end, their defensive left end.
He comes out of the game as they have Harris split to the near side now. Buford Jordan, by the way, has cramps. We've been told he will return. Reuben Mays, that didn't go anywhere. That'll bring up third down. Still about 7 yards to go. Greg Meisner over to make the stop. Third down, 7. So on 4th and 1, they kept the drive going, and they've come back to the point. If they don't get it, they may have to still settle for the field goal or Morton Anderson. Chuck Kaminsky, by the way, is back into the lineup for the Saints. There's Bobby Hebert, who was activated this week. He was the starting quarterback at the start of the year, got hurt in the 3rd game, and it's been Dave Wilson since.
And Sean Miller now is playing left end, and Meisner is playing on the nose.
Meisner, they call him the Rock, and now we're going to have a timeout by the Saints.
And Jeter is playing right in.
Timeout, New Orleans, with a 3rd and 7. They want to take some time, think this one through, and it's 0-0 game. You struggle like this. You look back in the first quarter. Lansford missed the field goal from 37 yards out, the 11-11 mark of the first quarter. Hit the upright. Anderson now waiting. He thought he was going to kick a field goal a moment ago. The Saints elected to go for it on 4th and 1. They got it. Now, after a timeout, they have a 3rd down 7 at the 23-yard line. They're a lot closer, but Hank, nothing sure in this game. I don't care what the distance is. You still have to make a field goal.
Yeah, you still have to make it. But Morton Anderson, I think his technique and the way he kicks the ball, boy, he's accurate, very, very accurate, because he doesn't follow through. He punches the ball and has great power.
On a 3rd and 7 after the timeout. Wilson again with a protection. The catch is made. Eric Martin getting up, but he's been downed. So Martin with an 11-yard catch, and they have a 1st down. They only needed 7.
Owens and Wilshire were blitzing on the play, and again, they don't get any penetration. Look at it. He's got plenty of time. Look at all the time he's got. They're keeping the Rams defense on the line of scrimmage. He makes a great catch. Martin does a low catch, and another 1st down for the New Orleans Saints.
The Saints have given up 15 sacks this year. That's 3rd in the NFL, behind the Steelers and the Rams, and they're protecting so well today. They're inside the 20, where we are now. The previous history of this team. From the 12. Complete for Herbert Harris. Harris to the 8-yard line. Harris, activated last week, made a catch against the 49ers. He's another one of those guys from the Stars that played for Jim Mora in the USFL.
Mel Owens was blitzing again on the play. That was a play action, a kind of a bootleg. You know, the other interesting thing about the New Orleans Saints is, you know, they don't pass block like a lot of teams do. They don't initially retreat and pick up linemen as they get penetration. They attack people on the line of scrimmage. They want to keep them on the line of scrimmage as much as they possibly can, and they've really done a good job.
Oh, they have. Jordan has come back into the ball game. Buford Jordan with Reuben Mays. 2nd and 5. That's Jones in motion. Reuben Mays inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Going to be, looks like, at least 2 yards short of a 1st and goal as they come to a 3rd down. Oh, he's got those light feet, doesn't he? Kind of skips around.
Yeah, he's got those ticklish feet. You know, they do a lot. They go in a lot of different directions. They're hard to get.
This guy stays healthy. What a career he's going to have. Came in here leading in average yards per carry in the NFC. 606, 3 100-yard games, and it's coming a little bit closer to that today. Here we go. 3rd down, still 2 yards to go for a 1st and goal at the 4. 15th play of this drive, and we're going to have another timeout.
Mix up on the formation, evidently, and he very wisely calls a timeout.
Well, they've used 2 of them on this series, however. They only have 1 left. And what seemed to be happening was Gilbert was out of position. That's twice. The offensive tackle scrambled at the last moment to try to find his spot. 1:27 left in the 3rd. We'll be back. New Orleans using 2 of their timeouts on this drive, as they now have come to their 15th play of the drive. And look at the time. The Rams, Hank, have had the ball only 1 minute in this quarter.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
As the ball resides at the 4-yard line. 3rd and 2.
Gilbert is playing tight end on the left side, and I think that's what really created some of the problems. Number 77. He and Keiser in the game. 2 tight ends.
Reuben Mays trying to get the 1st and goal. Did he get it?
No, I don't think it looks like he did, but it's hard to tell. You don't know where they're going to mark the ball.
Johnny Johnson, who started the last 2 games after coming back from arthroscopic knee surgery in August, made that stop. And I don't believe they've got it. They don't, Hank. It's 4th down. It's 4th and a yard, and here comes Anderson. So he eventually gets a crack at it. We have a man shaken up right now. Steve Court, the center for the Saints. He's sitting down inside the 5-yard line. And there's a guy they could ill afford to lose. So strong. Played very well out of Arkansas. And they'll look him over while we have a break at the 106 mark. Let's see if we can pick up where Court got hurt on this play.
Watch Court, the center, number 60, coming off the ball. Trying to get leverage on Sean Miller. Goes down to the turf. Johnny Johnson finally makes a tackle, but it's hard to tell how he got hurt on the play.
This guy has great upper body strength. I know that's the thing Sean Miller was talking about. You let him get those hands out on you and school can be out.
You know, he bench presses 500 pounds and he squats 700.
You're the only other guy I know that can do that.
Yeah, Mike Prime.
You're in your prime, Coach.
That's
what
right.
are you talking about?
Well, unbelievable, 700 pounds.
Strongest man in the history of the University of Arkansas. Well, you talk about being a chip shot, but Henry, you talked about it. Nothing's an automatic. This will be a 20-yard field goal attempt.
Well, I think the Rams have to be happy if he makes a field goal. They're happy to get out of here with just 3 instead of 7.
Hanson to hold, and Anderson put it up. And we finally are on the scoreboard. Morton Anderson with a 20-yard field goal. 3-0. New Orleans with 46 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. That was a 16-play, 71-yard drive, taking 10 minutes, 50 seconds, and ends up in a field goal.
Well, that's the philosophy of the Ram defense. You know, they say you're not going to be able to maintain the ball that long without making a mistake.
Next Sunday, Hank, on CBS, all the action starts with the NFL Today at 9:30 Pacific, 11:30 Central, followed by NFL single game coverage. Most of you will see the defending Super Bowl champion Bears take on the Falcons. Talk about a physical battle. Or it's the Saints against the Cardinals. Well, some of you will see a late game featuring the Cowboys at San Diego. That will begin at 1 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Central. Be sure now to check your local listings for the game in your area. That's next Sunday on CBS Sports. I think Atlanta and the Bears. I was talking to John Robinson. He said that Atlanta's about as physical as any team they faced. Then they turned around and got the Bears the next time around. So they've waited through 2 very physical teams.
Well, they've got a lot of young people on their squad, you know, and they're playing very aggressively and doing a much better job defensively than they have in a long time under the guidance and tutelage of Marion Campbell.
Well, we talked about how if the Saints would win today, they would really impact this NFC West. Rams came in here with a 1.5-game lead over the 49ers with Joe Montana back this week.
The Rams have to get some kind of a kickoff return, get some field position. If he kicks it out of the end zone again, they have to go 80. That's tough.
Well, that one's not going to be brought out. That's just like an automatic thing. He was 5 of 6 last week. Understand Atlanta is trailing in their football game. And there it is. Well, are they trailing? You know, the Saints played the Jets tough earlier a couple of weeks ago.
Well, it was 21-3, 28-3 at one time, and then they came back. Look at this one, New England 2014 over Indianapolis. Indianapolis must be playing pretty well.
Only team that hasn't won a game. At the 20-yard line now, after one of those automatic kicks into the end zone, Steve Dills has it. Redmond Dickerson, the running back. 3-0, New Orleans. Dills with a moving pocket this time, and he throws complete to Barry Redden, and Redden will be dropped outside the 25 to the 27-yard line. Good pressure put on that time. Bruce Clark flying up there, and they claimed that he was down before he went out of bounds. The official kept waving his arms to keep the clock in motion, so Redden did not get out of bounds.
That was a good move, too, Gary, on the part of the Rams. They moved the pocket some and got him away from some of that pressure, and he was able to get a chance to see better and get more room to throw the ball on the outside.
We understand Cord had a finger in the eye. He will return when the Saints get the ball. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter with the score. The Saints 3, the Rams nothing. We now pause for a word from your local station. The Rams had the ball only 1 minute and 47 seconds in that third quarter. No first downs and only 4 plays, and they trail 3-0. Mishandled snap. Hill tries to get on it. Picked up by the Saints. That's Haynes.
Here we see it. He had possession of the ball, and it kind of slipped out of his hand as he tried to put it in the pocket of Eric Dickerson. It looked like it just slid out of there instead of having both hands on it. James Haynes finally recovers the ball, number 92, but it looked like it just slipped out of Steve Dills' hand. That's what happened.
Last week, Yankee had the same play, and he tried to pick it up last week, remember?
Yep.
And he didn't recover it this time. He pounced on it. He learned something in a week's time. Here is Reuben Mays inching forward to the 11. You were critical of Haynes, saying get on the ball. He did this time. He was listening to you.
Yeah, well, there's no way in the world you should ever try to pick up a ball unless it takes a big hop, waist high. Then you pick it up and you go ahead and go with it. But anything that's lying on the ground, you want to make sure that you just fall on it so that your team has possession of the football and you got a chance to take it in just like they have right now.
That was the same spot, too. Almost the same part of the field.
Right.
He had
identical. It really was.
Anyway, second down, 7. Saints with a 3-0 lead. See, Cord is back in.
See if they run left here. They like to run from this formation. Here they go.
Hayes got a block, but it's not going to be enough. Good reaction that time by the Rams. See Irvin getting up over there. Line up was Tim Fox, who's into the game now. It's going to be 3rd down, 8.
Kevin Green, number 91, really came across there and made a good play.
They call him the maniac. He is such an intense football player, alternating at that outside linebacker spot with Mel Owens, second-year man out of Auburn.
Now they take Doss out of the game and put Jeter in the game.
See Jeter right there, number 77.
Now, the one time they did that, we thought it was Doss and it was Jeter, and they ran very efficiently, and they outsided Jeter. He likes to take an inside move. We'll see what they do here.
3rd and 8, or it's going to be Anderson again if they don't get it. Jones in motion. To the 5. Did he get the 1st and goal? He needed to get to the 4. Let's see where they mark it. Reuben Mays.
No, he didn't get the first down.
Nope, he didn't. They're yards short. Eckern on the stop.
Watch, this is a trap play. And watch the left guard, Brad Edelman, trapped the defensive end, 93. Provides good running room, and he's finally tackled up by Ben Snusen, number 22.
So Anderson will come in after just moments ago kicking a field goal. And this is going to be a 22-yarder. He doesn't miss, as you can see from that distance. 6 for 6. And Anderson up and through, and it's a 6-0 game.
See the way he punches the ball, no follow through. He wants to get a lot of speed in contact with the ball so he doesn't turn and hook the ball.
Whatever he's doing, you better patent it, because nobody does it better. 6-0 New Orleans.
Watch his left foot. He punches the ball. It doesn't get very high as far as follow through is concerned. Look at this. Boom. And see, just about knee high. Most kickers will try to get the ball, their left foot up about waist high, but he doesn't want to turn too much so he doesn't hook the ball.
Well, Morton Anderson, you get so much confidence watching him. Do you ever have that with Jan Stenerud when you're coaching? You just figured he was going to get him, huh?
Well, Jan was the same way.
Yep. Anderson, the difference in this game. 2 field goals, a 20 and 22. We may have a return here. This will be the first of the game by the Rams. Here comes Brown. Brown to the 35-40. Look out. And he is dropped at the 45-yard line. There is that world-class speed and true form that time. Brett Maxey eventually caught up with him. 55-yard return for Ron Brown.
Here's Ron Brown. Now they try to pin him over on that sideline so that everybody can get a beat on him. But look at that great speed. Look, there's a cavity inside. He's very decisive. Runs right through the opening. Makes Morton Anderson miss, and he's finally tackled by Maxey from the backside, number 39.
Well, that comes at an opportune time, doesn't it, for the Rams to get that kind of return. For the 46, they trail 6-0. Dickerson. And it continues to be heavy sledding up the middle. This NFC West right now kind of teetering on the brink of having a real change because Atlanta is losing. The Rams right now trailing. The 49ers playing later today with Joe Montana. And, of course, that's the game we'll be having coming up next. Game 2, the Cardinals against the 49ers. Second down now, 7.
Talking about 2 field goals, but the Rams are just 1 play from getting back in the game and being ahead in the game if they get a score.
Kevin House is checked in at wide receiver for Los Angeles. There's a handoff to Ellard. He fumbled the ball. The chase is on, and Jackson's got him. I tell you, it just has been amazing how many times they've had a tough time hanging on to the ball today.
Here's a reverse, and we talked about the possibility of something like this being effective, but watch it here now. Watch Jackson. They fake inside, give the ball to Ellard. He doesn't get the ball, good control of it, and Jackson is the traffic cop. He's waiting right there to give him a ticket when he starts coming to his side, and finally nails him with one. A great play by Ricky Jackson, number 57.
Oh, he's pumped, too. You know, Ellard has been out. He hasn't played that much, and some of those things come to the fore when you haven't played.
People wonder, you know, sometimes, we don't have to go to training camp. Things you see out here today, a great illustration of how important that training camp is.
3rd and 22. Gill trying to set up the screen. Dickerson can't get it. Incomplete. Fourth down.
What they've done, they've taken Dickerson out of the game.
Well, Hank, they haven't taken only Dickerson out of the game. They've taken the Rams out of the game. They have a -1 yard in total offense this half.
But if you're going to win the game, you're going to win it with him running the football, and he hasn't been able to run it at all.
Hatcher, he got pretty close to that punt. Martin coming up. 30, 35, brings it out to the 39. And I think right now, Hank, to use your vernacular, the Saints are starting to sniff something here. They feel they may have their second upset in as many weeks. 37-yard punt, 18-yard return. With a 6-0 lead. And Hank, I know what's going to creep into this discussion now is that what about coming out here, spending this week in New Orleans? They have not played well.
Well, they're not playing well because they were out here all week. I guarantee you that. I watched them practice on Wednesday and Thursday. We saw them Saturday. They had great workouts, and that's the only thing they could have done under the circumstances. They did the right thing. They're just not playing well. You know, that part of it doesn't win the game. You got to play the game and win it on Sunday.
Buford Jordan pounds his way forward. He's close to the first down as he's out to the 49-yard line. Well, you were at the practices. But if you looked at this graphic, I don't think John's ever been in this position. Only a -1 yard rushing, no first down, 6 offensive plays in the second half.
Well, I think the other thing that people around the country have to realize, they've been downplaying the ability and skill of this football team, talking about the New Orleans Saints. And they're a lot better, which is obvious, than a lot of people think. And that's what's going on here this afternoon. The Saint team is just doing a terrific job.
That was a first down run for Buford Jordan to the 49. Straight ahead this time, maybe a yard to the 50. It'll be second down and 9 yards to go. Well, Bill Walsh said that last week before the 49ers played. He said this team, the Saints, could be as good as anybody in our division. And they lost, and now Mora's got the Rams on the ropes. No nonsense guy, this Jim Mora. He has a slogan, if
you're a minute late, you're going to get a fine. And he has fined several players for not having discipline to come to the meetings, the practices. He's gotten the attention of guys. If you don't play, you leave.
Well, I think that happens around the league. I think everybody has a fine system. Darren Gilbert, number 77, is playing tight end.
2nd and 9. Reuben Mays to the 48. But he's certainly gotten the attention of this team. If you just don't get the job done, it's going to be somebody else filling in. And there's been numerous changes in this Saints team right up to last week. And Mora now with a chance to go to 500. And of course, as we've mentioned, and I'm sure people in Saints territory don't want to hear, they've never had a winning year. They've had 2 500 seasons at 8-8.
I think you have to talk about the environment of the club too, and I think Jim Finks gives it good environment, good strong leadership, and the combination of Mora and Jim Finks, why I think it's going to be a very outstanding thing.
3rd down 7. Wilson up the middle, and they can't hang on. That's Mike Jones, 86, trying to come up with it, so that'll bring up 4th down. Still a lot of time in this football game. 8:22 remaining. Wilson a little disgusted at himself as he comes off. That ball not well thrown. And Ellard, who made so many big plays last year as a punt returner, comes in.
You know, I mentioned they had a contract problem the last time we did one of their games, and I mentioned on the air that I thought one of the problems was that Henry did not want to return kicks. But I found out after talking to him and talking to other people that was not true. He likes and enjoys returning the kicks, and that was not an accurate remark.
Well, I tell you, he's led the NFC 3 straight years in punt return, so he does it pretty well whether he enjoys it or not. That ball will make it in for the touchback. 48-yard punt that time by Hansen. The ball at the 20-yard line. The Rams 80 yards away. 8 minutes, 13 seconds left in the game. If you're the Rams, you got to be a little frustrated. They have not been a good catch-up football team, and right now 80 yards away and trailing by 6.
I think they have to get the 2 outside receivers. I said that going into the game. They haven't caught a ball. Ellard and Brown with 2 lightning guys on the outside, great speed. They haven't caught a ball so far in the 3 quarters and a half that have been played. I think they got to somehow, some way get the ball to them to loosen that defense and so they can run a little bit, but they got to do something.
Look at the miscues. 3 turnovers, missed field goal, 4 penalties, 2 quarterback sacks. Boy, what a big game this is. The standings in the NFC West. Hank, let me ask you something. What about Jim Everett? Everybody says, when are you going to bring him in? Coach says he wants a good environment for him, and you wonder if somewhere he doesn't have to get into the picture to get them to that next level.
Well, he definitely is going to be the guy to get him to the next level, but you're sure not going to put him in a game like this one and say, win the game for us when he hasn't taken a snap in the NFL competition. His time will come, but this is no time for him to play in the game right now.
At the 20-yard line, Till's back. Dickerson greeted instantly that time by Haynes, who's been all over the place. Help also coming from Alvin Tolles, 54. Well, Jim Everett is a natural. That's in the words of John Robinson. He had unbelievable statistics at Purdue. We watched him working out yesterday. It's just a matter of time, but what John wants, Hank, is to get into a game where he doesn't have to win it for him, an environment where the game is either won or lost.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what he wants to do, but I never saw him throw the ball until this week. I guarantee you, he's really got a great gun, great temperament, and an awful lot of poise.
2nd 11, Dickerson. Yep, it's going to come 3rd down and long yardage. Sam Mills is there, and they have absolutely stymied Eric Dickerson, and that doesn't happen very often. When you figure Dickerson in his career has rushed for 100 yards in 32 of 55 games. Today, he had what, 7-yard run once.
Well, they got the beat on him. You know, the whole defense is keying on Dickerson. They figure he's the only guy that's going to beat him. They're not going to throw the ball to anybody else. So let's concentrate on him. And if they continue to play that way, there's no chance they're going to get back in a ball game.
3rd down, 11. Lot of time. The catch is made, and there's that outside guy you're talking about, Ellard. The catch coming out for 22-yard gain, and they are keeping their hopes alive to the 41-yard line.
Henry Ellard on the top of your screen coming down the field on Waymer. Waymer settles to the inside. He goes around him wisely, breaks to the inside, and Waymer is looking for the ball instead of watching the man. The ball is thrown right on the numbers perfectly, and finally tackled there by Brett Maxey, number 39.
1st down. That's the initial first down of this half for the Los Angeles Rams. Dills over the top, David Hill.
Oh, man.
He jumped before he should have. David Hill, who caught a touchdown pass from Eric Dickerson a couple of weeks ago, mistimed that one.
Zone defense, and he hit the right guy, the tight end, going right down the seam, covered by a linebacker. Talking about Sam Mills, number 51, but he just drops the football. It was perfectly thrown. But that's what they got to do. They got to pump the ball up and throw the ball to get back in this game. They're not going to do it fooling around running the football.
Well, they don't have any other options at tight end. Tony Hunter can't play, and Goodman's hurt. So it's got to be David Hill right now. Second down, 10. Dills is, is he hit, Hank? Oh, man, did he get hit. Tremendous impact that time by Von Johnson, and that ball came out of there wobbling. I don't know how he got up after this. Watch this hit.
Watch Von Johnson, number 53. Watch him come into the picture. There's Jackson on the inside, but watch Johnson on your right side. Here he is. Nobody touched him, and he really creams Steve Dills. Man, what a shot.
I'm telling you, Coach, I don't know how he got up.
Well, nobody touched him. Nobody touched him.
How did Dills get up? That's what I mean.
I know that.
Here we go. Third down now. 10. He's hit again. He got it off, though, and he has a first down completion. That was Clark storming up. A 12-yard completion, and you got to give Dills credit for the courage hanging in there and completing this one.
Here again, he gets hit again. Look at Clark coming all the way inside. Jackson blitzing on the play. Clark finally gets him another shot. But I tell you, the guy that deserves all the credit is Michael Young, number 88. He knew exactly where he had to go for the first down. A lot of times you'll see a receiver go down and catch the ball and be a yard short. He was beyond the mark. A great play by Michael Young.
Dills is paying for it, but he's getting the job done. First down now. Remember the drive Monday night? He completed 3 in a row in that last drive.
He's a competitor. I guarantee he's a competitor.
Here's Dickerson. They still can't get him open. You think maybe it'd open it up a little bit after throwing like that, but nothing doing. Gibson up to make the stop.
The way they're falling back, talking about the Saints, some kind of a check pattern with Dickerson pretending like he's going to block, and then after everybody goes back in their passing responsibilities, dump the ball off to him in the middle area, let him run. He's allowed to run for a big play. I think that's something like that would be very appropriate.
What it is now, 2nd 8. You saw that Atlanta score a while ago. They were trailing the Rams by a game and a half coming into today. There's the time left. 6-0 New Orleans. Play action by Dills. He's got some running room, but he's going to throw it to Barry Redden, and Redden's got the first down.
There's a great illustration of moving the pocket. Look at all the room he had. He had great vision. There was no pursuit. They ran outside of containment. Beautifully done. But it took an awful lot of pressure off of Dills. And again, I say, he's a great competitor. He's not going to throw in the towel.
What he's going to do is keep moving the chains, and that's what he's done here with an 11-yard pickup to the 34. He makes it exciting, doesn't he? He waited Monday night for a long time to get going, and he's done the same thing here this afternoon. He's picking up his stats now.
Yeah, but they got to continue to throw the football to those outside people.
4:31 left in the game. Wide open over the middle. That's Redden as the helmet comes loose. Redden to the 26-yard line. What a dimension he gives them coming out of the backfield to catch a football.
Well, the nice thing about what's happening now is the strong safety, Antonio Gibson, is trying to get help for the outside people, and for that reason, the back is open in that area that he vacates, and that was a great illustration on the last play. They got the ball inside between the hash marks and right up the middle, and a big play to Barry Redden.
2nd down, 3, less than 4 to go. Boy, it's getting noisy, isn't it?
Yeah, look at the run-on-one on the outside there with Brown.
Dills with some pressure. Dickerson, and Dickerson will drag him for a first down. Dickerson to the 21. Haynes hanging on for the ride. Shows you the strength again of Eric Dickerson. And they move the chains again with 3:30 in the clock running. Snyder, Corey, the assistant coaches. Snyder calls the runs, Corey the passes, and John Robinson waiting trying to keep that poise that he is so good for. And this man hoping somehow to stop this drive. First down 10. Big game in this race with Atlanta losing. San Francisco coming up next. There's a pass throw behind. It's picked off. Dave Waymer. And Waymer at the 25. Dave Waymer, who played on that Notre Dame team in '78, national champions, with this interception, picking off his 5th of the year.
Look how much room he got. Saying the receiver, Brown, goes inside. The ball is thrown outside. And that's something that's very difficult to do against Waymer because he plays the outside ball very, very well. He's aggressive. He goes for the interception. I don't know what happened on the mix-up between Brown and Steve Dills, but the ball looked like he was supposed to be able to throw the ball outside, and he threw it. The receiver went inside, and that was the mix-up on the play.
Now they'll try to kill this remaining time as Buford Jordan straight ahead. Well, coming into this game, this defense has had a knack for forcing turnovers. They had 17 interceptions, which was 2nd in the NFC, 11 fumble recovers, and Dave Waymer with his 5th pick of the year. Timeout now by Los Angeles with 2:37 left. The Rams with 2 left, the Saints with 1.
You know, the funny thing about that throw is that talking to Dills the other day, he said that one thing that you have to be very, very careful of is throwing on the outside, an outside move on Waymer, because he reacts so quickly. He has great anticipation. Much better to throw inside of him and some kind of a double move back into the corner. And that time they threw the ball outside, and of course Brown went inside, and obviously there was some kind of a mix-up on the play.
Let me ask you something, Henry. With the way the day's going, Atlanta losing, the Rams possibly losing here, we don't know what will happen with San Francisco, St. Louis. Does this in any way affect the decision on Jim Everett? I hate to keep coming back to it, but you wonder somewhere how long they're going to be able to go without getting more production out of the quarterback.
Well, I think the one thing that they have to do is finally get to a stage where they believe in the passing game. They don't believe in the passing game, you see. And as a result, if you don't believe in it, you know, I talked to Corey, the offensive coordinator, this afternoon before the game or this morning, and I talked to him yesterday, and they're all uptight about wanting to catch the ball. If we can just catch the ball, we can catch the ball, which would mean they would be able to throw it more. But they're in that tough period where they don't have a lot of confidence, and for that reason, it wouldn't make any difference who the quarterback is if the philosophy is you don't want to throw the ball.
2nd down 10. L.A. with 2 timeouts left. They'll try to somehow get it back with 2:37 left. Reuben Mays. Mays got a yard, maybe 2, and it's going to come now to a 3rd down and another timeout by the Rams, stopping it with 2:30, so they've got an excellent chance of getting this football back. Well, the thing that, in talking to Jim Everett yesterday, he wants to play. You know, he looks around the league. He says, well, my buddy Chuck Long hasn't played in Detroit, but Flutie may play today for the Bears, and you wouldn't expect him to react any other way. I mean, he's that kind of competitor.
Why, certainly. He's a competitor. He certainly wants to play, and he thinks he can add a dimension that they need. And nobody wants him to play sooner or more than Johnny Robinson. There's no question about that. But, you know, Johnny said yesterday, and being very candid about the whole thing, and you have to believe and do what you feel strongly about. And he said even though he becomes a quarterback, we hope that he never leads the league in passing. We hope he does as far as touchdown throws are concerned and as far as wins are concerned. But you don't measure the ability of a quarterback by what his batting average is how many games you're going to win. Yep. And that's what he's concerned about. And as a result, they still want to win with the same basic personality that they've won with in the past.
But I asked him, I said, can you win the Super Bowl the way the quarterback's playing now? He said, obviously not. So this team is in a position of getting to the Super Bowl. They got to make that transition somewhere.
Well, they'd have to, but they can't do it when they're desperately trying. If they're a game and a half in the lead, they can't afford to be changing quarterbacks with a kid. I don't care how much ability he has if he hasn't taken the snap.
Okay, 3rd down 8. That's Goodlow trying to come back to the ball. Now that stopped the clock, Henry. Used what, 2 seconds? And the Rams now with 2:27 have got a real crack at this.
Well, he tried to steer the ball that time, and they had plenty of time, is right. 1 timeout left, 2:27 left on the clock, and they actually get 2 timeouts because they're going to stop the clock at the 2-minute offense.
Boy, that was not very impressive, that pass.
Well, he wanted to make sure. He didn't want to make a mistake, and he put the radar on that when he tried to steer it in there, and it didn't work.
Here's Hansen back to punt.
They got to come back with they got to make some kind of a big play with their specialty teams, too.
Well, they had that 55-yard kickoff return. Couldn't do anything with it. Here is Hansen. Ellard coming up. Not especially long punt. And Ellard will get to the 40-yard line. There's a penalty flag. 40-yard punt, 7-yard return. Von Johnson over to make the stop. Ricky Jackson's pointing like they're going to go the other way and go against the Rams.
Well, I wonder how long we're going to have to go in professional football before you can kick a ball and not have a penalty.
Boy, Hank, it is maddening, isn't it?
That's murder. I tell you, it's murder.
It seems like every time you punt the ball, there's somebody down illegally downfield or something.
Every time there's a kick, the first thing you look for is where's the yellow flag. There's going to be some kind of a penalty almost on every kick.
It's a reflex action. Here we go. Yeah. Illegal use of hands on this one. Anyway, the Rams aren't going to start from the 40, are they? They're going to back them up now. They step it off. It'll go back inside
Illegal
the 30.
block. Under return, number 51. We have first down.
An illegal block at the 29 now is where they are. Well, they've still got hope. They got a timeout left. They got 2 minutes and 18 seconds left. That was Norwood Van guilty of the penalty. Their special teams linebacker. So Dills, they were able to do it with 4 seconds Monday night left. Kicked a field goal, but they're going to have to get a touchdown to win this one.
And the way they're playing, they're going to have to throw the ball inside some way to move the ball down the field. They're going to be double covering the outside receivers.
Dills stepping up, and that ball was deflected. Tried to sneak that one through the middle, and there was just too much congestion on that play. It'll bring up second down 10.
Nickel blitz that time, putting pressure on Dills, and Michael Young was trying to go underneath, and they're trying to hit him in the middle. Everybody else tried to clean it out, and he tried to come across the middle, but the ball was deflected.
Last time they were shut out, 1984 against San Francisco, week 9. On a 2nd and 10. Trying to set up the screen. Dickerson's got it. 30. And to the 36, lunging forward, 2 yards short of the first down. And they will come to the 2-minute warning. And we will have a 3rd down, 2 yards to go as Ricky Jackson made the stop. So the Rams in a desperate situation, down by 6, 2 minutes left to go. The Superdome in New Orleans, the home of the Saints. The Saints trying to pull out their 2nd consecutive upset of a team in the NF West. They lead it 6-0. The Rams now have the football at the 36. The Saints would like to go to 5-5 to stay alive. Right now they have 1 timeout remaining. They have a 3rd down and 3. I'm Gary Bender along with Hank Stram. It's been an uphill struggle for the Rams. The Saints scoring on 2 field goals by Morton Anderson, the difference in this game. Flag on the play. Overthrown, intended for Ellard. Johnny Poe defending on the play. So the penalty flag will try to sort it out for you.
It looked like Henry Ellard.
Did he jump on the play?
It looked like he might have.
Well, that's again, Hank, not being in camp, not working out with the team. Little things like that creep in, don't they?
Yep.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 30. Penalty declined. 4th down.
No, it wasn't Ellard. It was 30. Redden, Barry Redden.
Huh. Well, anyway, it's 4th down and 3. This is it. Rams don't get it here. It's over.
Yeah, they got to go. They don't get it here. School's out. I'll try to get it to one of those backs inside.
Bills. Oh, he can't come up with it. Barry Redden, the intended receiver. Hank, let's go back from the end zone and watch it.
Well, they were covering the outside people. They went to the right guy. Good protection. He's coming across the middle in hot pursuit. They got him covered well. The ball is thrown. He should have caught it. Gibson, number 27, was in hot pursuit. Covered him very, very well, but he looked like he should have caught the ball. It was catchable.
So John Robinson, who has a tough road from here on. Next week, New England at home. The Jets, Dallas, Miami, San Francisco. What a race this is going to be. Here's Reuben Mays. He's going to lose yardage as the Rams only have one timeout left. Some pushing and shoving going on down there now. Well, I would think maybe, Hank, that the Saints have earned some respect in this division.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. I think Jim Mora and his coaching staff, Jim Finks and everybody, they've done a terrific job with this football team. And I think everybody around the country ought to understand what a fine job they've done and how good they are.
Now, here's updates. With the Rams losing, Atlanta losing, Kevin House making that rolling catch. Boy, you don't have very many options, though. No timeouts left. The ball now at your 36-yard line. 19-yard pickup on the play.
Jim Mora said a funny thing the other day. He said, "You were playing hard, we're playing aggressively, we're playing good." He said, I just hope that we just don't blow wide open one of these days and play a lousy game. They certainly haven't done it so far.
Boy, they haven't. Boy, is this race tightening in the NFC West. Game and a half lead for the Rams coming in. Dills just putting it up. Waymer's over there. He had the big interception earlier, intended for Kevin House, incomplete. 3 seconds left. You know, Hank, I really go on your instincts because you seemingly target these games very well. You felt last week that the Saints are going to win. I felt that. Today, though, coming in here was a little harder, wasn't it, to get a grasp on it?
It really was.